This conference will now be recorded.
All right, all set, Emily.
Okay, so I'll call the meeting to order at 6:31. Yeah. Okay, so actually, first we want to do the interview, right?
You can do just the adoption of the agenda and then go right and do it.
Okay. I'm having a brain fart here. A motion to adopt the agenda for September 16th.
I'll make a motion to adopt it.
I'll second
And
it.
then
Second.
Dr. Ribner, everyone support that, raise your hand or say aye. Okay, thank you. So let's see. Now today we have with us for the one of the vacancies, Maureen Gillette, I believe it is. Did I say it right? Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Should
meeting you.
you too. Should we all just introduce ourselves real quick? Would that help? I'm Emily Chang Jackson. I'm the current president of the board. Someone just came into the meeting as well. I am a CPA and a assistant controller at a engineering firm in downtown Binghamton. I've been on the board for 4 years, I think, around something like that. And then who's next?
I'm Paul Del Rosso. I'm retired from Endicott Johnson in the financial field. Nice to see you, Marie.
Hi.
Hi, Maureen. I'm Jen Musa. I've been on the board for, I think, about 10 years or so, and I'm a teacher at SUNY Broome.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, go ahead, Melissa. Go ahead.
Sorry, Melissa Lawson. I've been on the board for about 1.5 years, actually, and I work at Binghamton University in the admissions office.
Hello.
And I'm George Snyder. I've been on the board a little less than 1 year, and I just retired from working at Davis College for most of my life.
Congratulations.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Welcome, Mo. My name is Ellie Rivera. I'm the vice president of the board. And when I'm not working at SUNY Broome, I'm over at Wells College. And when I'm not doing that, I'm doing real estate.
Oh, wow.
I've been with the board now for about 10 months.
Awesome.
And I'm Jeff Ribner. I'm a retired medical doctor, and I've been on the board for 5 years.
Hello.
Okay. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my given name is Maureen Gillette. I go by Mo. I grew up here in Endicott, graduated from UWI. I lived in Oneonta for quite a long time, working in hospitality, social work, social services. We moved to Philadelphia 9 years ago, and from there I got into office administration, worked in restaurants again, and then I pivoted into customer support. We moved back here this summer, and I found myself here in this seat tonight because I applied for a clerk position part-time at the library, but my hours didn't allow for it. And Kathy suggested that I apply for the board position because I was extremely enthusiastic about the library. I grew up at George F. Johnson pretty much.
Wonderful.
If anyone has any questions while I'm thinking of my thoughts, so go ahead and ask. I'm just going through her resume.
Maureen, this is Paul.
Hi.
Yeah, I was just looking at you when you were your most recent customer support specialist. You said you ensure customer inquiries and concerns regarding to working on the cloud and that sort of thing. What type of inquiries and concerns do you get for that type of thing?
So
what's like a typical question, I guess?
No, but it makes sense because when people look at the resume, you might not really understand what infrastructure as a services or open source cloud provider. And I'm still not entirely sure how to explain the services we provide. We provide access to servers in the cloud. So it's pretty much giving customers availability for like a cloud computer instance. And many people run their websites, their e-commerce sites, their blogs, they run their business websites on our servers. So the primary inquiry we get is billing. During the pandemic, the biggest request we've gotten was payment extensions, because as small businesses struggled, they had a hard time paying for the services. Other times we get fraud complaints, or we get customers who are complaining because they've been reported for fraud. And then some of the time, I thought it would be more often, but some of the time we get inquiries on how to actually use the server. So where the IT part comes into the support of the internal configurations of what a computer looks like, and helping them to find their files, or to find the error where they might have typed something wrong and it's just not working, or if there's a firewall blocking something that they have set up, things of that nature. It can be very dry.
Mhm. So Mo, I like the fact that you said you grew up at the library. So you still like walk in the front door, the back door frequently?
Yes, since I've been here, I have been there almost every week, 2 or 3 times a week. I was there the other day. I brought back 4 books and walked out with 5. It's almost as bad as me being in a bookstore and buying books. It's kind of out of control. I got my library card before I switched my license to New York State. That was the first. I brought in my deed. I'm sure the librarian at the time was like, "This person is a little out of control," but that was the first thing I did, was get my library card, not my license.
Wonderful.
I
That's
could
good.
probably, if you blindfolded me, I could probably walk the floor plan without having too much trouble.
Excellent. So my other very highly technical question is, how many books a year do you read?
Oh gosh. I set my yearly reading goal low, so I know I'll hit it depending on what's going on with work and family. I think I'm on par to hit over 60 books this year, but I don't know that I'm tracking every single thing that I'm reading. I do tend to read many books at a time. So at any one time I have multiple books going. I'm rereading Outlander. I'm reading a book about the woman they could not silence right now. I just picked that up. I have a few book clubs going right now. And if anyone sees me in the library, you might catch me smelling the books.
Nice. Smelling the book.
Maury or Mo, other than reading, could you say a little bit about what you really envision the library, other library services to the community? You know, what other things that you think are important that the library can offer?
Yes, absolutely. And keeping in mind that I'm not entirely sure all of the services that are currently being offered, but I know that it could be a great place for people to be able to come if they don't have the money to have a personal computer at home and to access the internet. It's great for learning how we could have like small classes for how do you write a resume, how do you do job search, how do you respond to interview requests, how do you, like, things of that nature. Bringing services like that to people who maybe don't have the access to that or just can't do that at home. Maybe services that help them learn how they can access public benefits. I think a lot of that is done at the library now, because there's the bulletin board out front. There's a lot of services that I noticed on there that's really helpful. Also, what I would love, and I have kind of a vision of a bigger program to encompass independent living skills. I worked with a lot of kids who were in the foster care system, and most of my kids went back home, but some of my kids aged out. And I realized at the time, this was a long time ago, and I'm not going to tell you how many years ago. It's probably on my resume. We didn't have the resources to teach these kids how to be prepared to age out of the system. And so I think that's a huge, first of all, it's lacking even with kids in their own homes. Like, I never learned financial planning at school. I never learned how to take care of a house at school. I never learned a lot of things that we should learn just to be able to get through your day-to-day life. And I think that having a bigger level independent living program that encompasses finances, home, medical, mental health, dealing with substance abuse, things of that nature, childcare, what happens, you know, when you are expecting, or family planning and things of that nature. I kind of have that vision. But to bring it down to a smaller level and sticking with classes and building up skills for the future, I would love to see some tech classes going on in various places, focusing on kids or people who are in the community who want to career change, teaching them how to code, build a website, write a blog, deal with e-commerce, things that can get them high-paying jobs without having to have a high school diploma or a degree if their path just didn't bring them down that road. Many of the engineers I've worked with through the tech companies did not have anything more than a high school diploma, and they were self-taught. Some of them who did have college degrees weren't even using those degrees. They self-taught themselves as well, coding, and ended up in a completely different career path than what they thought when they graduated. So these are the things that are on my mind. And I have a whiteboard here somewhere that I started writing down all of my ideas. Voting and community also being included, relationships, crisis management, things that we aren't told about when we're growing up, and you just figure it out very painfully sometimes once you are out of the house.
Thank you.
Sure. Also, I don't know if you're related to these muses, but there was a family of muses in the town that were very integral to my upbringing as a child.
Oh, I don't know. There are a few different Musa families around. I'm sure they're all related, and it's my husband's family anyway, but I'm sure they're all connected somehow.
Yeah, I bet they are.
On your resume, it says you're currently with, is it Linode?
Yep.
What exactly is that?
It's a Linux-based infrastructure as a service company. So the virtual computer services that we offer to people are based on the Linux operating system. So Linux is pretty much an operating system that Mac and Windows are sort of based on. Mac being more like closer in nature to Linux than Windows is. And so that was the operating system that our founder focused on when he created the company.
Mo, I was just going to ask, you've moved around a few times, and you said you're from the area, but what is it about this area that you love being a part of this community?
I love the Northeast. I love the fall. This is the best time of year. I love the cider mill. I love the beginning of school. I love walking through the neighborhoods. Specifically, this area was great, I think, for me to grow up in, especially before social media. I'm sure it's much more difficult these days. The school district was amazing for me and my friends. I had a great experience all the way around. I could probably name all of my teachers up until freshman year of high school. I think I might see one of my former teachers tomorrow. I just love it. And my family, I mean, my mother is here, my partner's mother is here, my best friend is here. The rest of my friends are up in Oneonta. And we wanted to be closer to home. Once my son was born, we wanted to be closer to home because it's hard being in a city without any support. A pandemic made it worse. And our parents are starting to need some help. We want to be closer. But I've gone to the cider mill several times, spent a lot of money there. Roma sees me every other day. I'm really supporting the local businesses.
Feel free to ask us any questions that you'd like also.
Was there a particular background that you're looking for to fill this role? Is there a particular personality type or something that you're looking for that maybe prior board members who left that you're kind of looking to fill that need?
I'm personally not. I think any kind of personality or any kind of experience would be an asset to the board. Like a wide variety of experiences would be a great asset to the board because we all have come from different backgrounds and have professional and personal experiences.
I was looking for a person just like you.
Hey, I love to hear that. The type of person that you walk around the corner and catch them smelling the books.
You fit right in. I just have to say that I'm very excited about some of the ideas that you bring up. We are an adoptive foster family. There's 8 people in my home right now. My husband and I and our wonderful Rivera bunch. We have our own version of our Brady bunch. We have 3 boys and 3 girls at home, and a zoo of pets. But the idea of being able to empower that community, that
You're frozen.
She froze.
No. You're frozen, Ellie.
The beauty of technology.
That's right.
Hopefully she'll come back. Did you guys have any other questions for Mo?
I didn't. Okay. Unless Mo has any questions for us, are we comfortable with like ending it at this the interview aspect at this time, or?
Yeah, I promised her she didn't have to stay for the whole meeting, so.
I mean, if you want me to, I'm happy to, but I am wondering when to expect hearing back on a decision. Did you need anything else from me? Do you need references? I might have provided references now that I think about it.
I can email you with how we'll probably know by tonight just what kind of
I
timeline
think
anyway.
you'll hear back from Seth in a day or 2, I would think.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Yep, you too.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Maureen.
you, everybody.
It was
Take
nice
care.
talking to you. Thank you.
Nice talking to you all.
Did you guys want to discuss that, or I guess discuss whether having her on or? Oh, is everyone
Good
there?
night, Walt.
I
What
think
was
she's
that?
a great fit.
Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think she'd be a great addition to the board.
I
Agreed.
agree. Her technical backgrounds, in addition to her passion for all the things that she talked about, that she has a really strong tech background, which I think, we can definitely benefit from having that represented more in our group.
Yeah, loved her passion for the library too. That was obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds unanimous.
Did you guys want to vote or vote officially?
Yeah, we probably should have a vote, Emily.
Okay, so a motion to accept Maureen Gillette onto the board.
I'll make
Anyone
them.
wanna- Okay,
I'll second it.
everyone in support, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Wonderful.
Okay, move on to approving the minutes.
Does everyone get a chance to go through the minutes for the July 15th meeting? That went out like, that was dispersed like in August, I think.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the July 15 meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
I'll
Okay,
second.
everyone support, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
And then everyone get a chance to go over the September 2nd minutes as well. Any issues?
Sorry, I just got those out.
No, it's okay. Do you have a motion to accept the September 2nd minutes?
So moved, motion moved.
And then anyone like a second?
I'll second.
George. Okay, does everyone accept it? Raise your hand or say aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Let's see, on to manifest number 3.
Did anybody have any questions about manifest number 3?
That would be August, right?
Seth, I guess my one question, I guess I ask this all the time, right. The quarterly maintenance from A&C, $600. What exactly, in other words, we're paying $2,400 a year to A&C.
Yeah.
What exactly are they doing? How long does it take them when they come in? I mean, what are they doing for that kind of money?
Not long. I know they're checking the systems and they're changing filters and doing just general preventative things, I guess. I know the filters are the main thing that they change, and they clean the units. But other than that, I don't think there's a lot more that they do. So, but that's the base of it. Yeah.
Do we want to
That's what-
consider?
Part of that is the cost of the filters, then
Yeah. Right.
That's what were the web enhancements for book site? I was just curious what that was.
It's for our book letters. It's for book letters. It's allows us to put them on the website, I believe. So it's just it's part of a newsletter feature. But yeah, that's what we pay that for every year.
Do we want to consider looking at other providers for what A&C does? Just like quotes, given that it's $2,400 just for 4 checks a year?
Is that a general board question?
I
Yeah,
don't think it would hurt.
Just if someone else would charge the same amount to come out 4 times a year to check things.
I mean, I certainly could look into it if that's what the board would
This
like.
seems a little steep.
So it's like
You think
$2,400
maybe
for A&C to come out to check stuff, and then additional for them to actually fix something if they find something wrong.
Yeah, I guess, they would charge us whatever the repair would be. There wouldn't be, we were just checking it. We found this thing, it's free. Yeah, they would charge us for that too. So, but they've never really told me anything that needs to be fixed. So it's we're here to clean things out, check filters, change filters, and we're good to go. So.
Do we need to vote on that?
I don't think it would. Maybe you can get 2 other quotes.
Yeah, I'll try to find out exactly what's covered, and then I'll try to reach out to Wahanihi or some other places and see, what they would charge. I don't know what the other companies are, I guess, around, but
Right.
Reach out to a couple more.
Do we make a motion to accept manifest 3 if there aren't any more questions, or should we do 3 and 4 together?
We could do 3. So moved. I move on 3.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Or everyone in favor, raise your hand. And now on to manifest 4.
Did anybody have any questions on Manifest 4?
Let's see.
I'll make a motion to accept manifest 4.
I'll second it.
Okay, everyone in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Let's see, the August financial report.
Did anybody have questions about the August financial report?
I just,
I
Emily,
have a real question Seth,
general
about the,
question. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
no, I had a question about the health insurance active. I mean, based on our budget, that's supposed to run about $6,600 or $6,700 a month. And we have we have like a 4-month charge in there.
Yeah,
What's going on there?
that was with the us paying the amounts for the 2 months that we just paid that they said we didn't pay. So I think we're getting caught up. Either we should be all caught up by now, but we're still waiting to see how that plays out. I haven't got a bill yet for this month. So we might be just 1 month ahead. We're still waiting to have that kind of all pan out, but that has to do with what we had to do.
Yeah, I mean, because that's like 4 months premiums, it looks like.
Right. Yeah. So
Hit
it's
in
still
1 month.
still
I mean, we
working.
all agreed that they didn't, yeah, Endicott, the village didn't pay them. They didn't cut the check.
Well, they were saying they never
You're-
received it.
You're
and
confident in that?
yeah. So what we did
That we
do,
owed them some back payments.
yeah, it could have been. So what we did, that $15,000 last month or July, it was when they canceled everybody's insurance, we overnighted them the 15,000. So we're just waiting to see right now. So I think we're all caught up now, and everything should be good. If we missed a payment or they didn't get a payment from, technically it could have been, last fiscal year, it could have been in May or something. But I believe, it's all caught up now. So I think we're okay. But it's been kind of nutty. Let me see there.
Do you get a detailed set of that 27,000? Do they give you a detailed invoice or
No, it's just the,
receipt of what
the
that
monthly
covered?
charge, right? The 75, where we get charged monthly, which is, after the staff's deductibles, or payments come out at $6,500 or so.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah, so we didn't have a bill in August that was charged. And so as of right now, we don't have one on September yet. So they haven't
Right,
sent
you
us
didn't have
one.
one in September, I saw that. I know.
So I'm not sure. I mean, I did just get the retiree one, so maybe we will have one for October. But again, I'm just waiting to see if it's all working its way out. It seems like we're ahead a month, like you just said. Seems like we're ahead of 1 month's payment, but we'll have to see. George, you had a question?
Is Mary in the loop on this set?
Oh, she was on the loop. Yeah, we were in contact with her.
Yeah, well,
all
maybe
the-
at some point, maybe Mary can give you maybe you can tell her, we'd like a breakdown of what this 27,000 represents. Is it,
Yeah.
are we paid a month in advance, or are we all caught up? Or I
Right.
saw there wasn't a charge for September so far, and that usually comes at the first of the month. But
Yeah, I should have put it on there, to be honest with you.
that's a big chunk. That's like, as I said, that's 4 months.
Right. The bill just might actually not have come yet. Obviously, we did just get the retiree one for sure. So, we could approve the invoice, approve the manifest, maybe to add that on, but I'm not sure if we do owe it or not. That's really the best answer I could get. I know it's not like, we should know, but with this situation, it's like we seem to be ahead, and first we were behind. Now it seems we're ahead. So I really don't know until they send me
Yeah. Well,
a
that's
bill that
yeah.
says zero.
We really don't know. I mean, we just got a lot of money going out the door, but we just don't know what it is. They should give us some sort of accounting for it, I think.
Yep.
So I just have a general question. When I look at the budget, when I look at the budget every month and I look at the revenue and then I look at the expenses, is there any way, Emily or Paul or Seth, that I could say, well, how is the library doing? I guess that's, that's the basic question I asked, right? So how are we doing? Are we making enough money? Are we spending too much money? Is there any way that I can tell from this, or is that not the purpose of this, or is that not what we look at? So I guess that's my general question. How are we doing financially? How am I supposed to tell that?
I'm not sure really if there's a format. The way I look at it, George, is like this is 2 months. So that's how I looked at that medical. So I look at, when I'm looking at this, I look at the actual revenue and expense, and I say, if that's 2 months, I multiply it by 6 and compare that to this annual budget, because the budget's annual. That's how I do it. That's really the only feel I have for it.
Okay.
So, for example, if I look at books, books are 9,800, almost 10,000. If I multiply that by 6, since this is 2 months, we're going to end up 60 under budget. I just try to. Unfortunately, our budget is not. Well, I don't know. Is the budget? The budget is broken down by month set. I guess the answer to George's question, the true financial way would be that you would do this 2 months. You would have 2 months of budget. You'd have the June and July budget.
3 months.
Or 3 months. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could take the
I'm
numbers.
looking at the office one,
right.
And then compare that.
Right. You're basically taking the budget,
Then
dividing
you'd
it
have
by,
a read rather than, just trying to extrapolate it in our head.
right. You're either taking each number and kind of dividing it by 12, or, it's hard to with revenues. Honestly, some months are busier than others, or more money's coming in. Holiday times, you're getting more donations. And right now,
you really don't do a budget by month, I don't think. Yeah.
No, we don't. We don't really do it by month. I mean, I have the sheets, but
so that's how I ballpark it. I don't know if there's a better way. That's how I ballpark it.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
Do we know in advance that we're going to get this money from the state of New York?
Say that again, George.
Do we know that we're going to get this $1,122,000, $497,000 from the state of New York?
That's
From
our
the
county
county union.
Yeah, that's our tax levy money that we get every year. Yes, in March.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. That's every March. Yeah.
We have Cuomo's word for it, George.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much.
So, I mean, the library budget, I mean, also what you're looking at is you're looking kind of at the statistics, for previous years too, to see where we are. Are we way ahead or behind where we were a year ago or 2-3 years ago? 2019 we started, or 2020 really, we started getting this increase in money. Obviously, things change with grants. Sometimes we have more money in there because of construction grant money that we're getting. Or we haven't spent construction grant money funds yet, so it's really hard to know, I guess, if you're not really in the numbers and you're really looking at everything. But overall, we're doing okay. We're doing okay financially right now.
Thank you.
Yes. Did you guys want to? I guess I don't know if you want to add 75 onto the manifest, or we just want to, we don't have a bill. What do you guys want to do with that? For the active health insurance payment, I haven't got one yet.
What's that set with what?
Do we want to add another 75 onto the manifest number 4 as a total, just in case we do get a health insurance bill?
Seth, why don't we wait, and if you get it, we can amend.
Basically, you do your manifest on a cash basis. What you put in there is actual. Yeah. Basically, you do the manifest on what's actually been paid, correct?
Right. Correct.
We don't.
I actually have a bill. Now, I mean, usually I do put an asterisk in there if it's not, we haven't got a bill yet and we're just anticipating, which normally every month it's the same. So, I mean, we could put it in there, but it's totally up to you guys.
Let's wait because of the confusion and uncertainty. We could always amend the manifest next month if it came in, right? Just because of confusion. I don't want to add to it.
I got you. All right.
Any more questions on the August?
I'll make a motion to accept August.
There you go. Anyone want a second?
I'll second it.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll move a motion to second.
Everyone who accepts, raise your hand. Or say aye. Okay, September's financial reports.
Oh.
Where is that?
Too fast.
Oh, going too fast for anybody?
Looks good to me.
Where's September?
Yeah, so obviously our copy revenue is doing well. And again, these budget numbers were off of us basically just anticipating we'd possibly make half of our revenues than normal years. So obviously, the copy machine revenues is normally 6,000. This is 3,000.
Right.
What we're hoping for. Again, who knows? With COVID, we're still in this. We're still feeling the effects of people not coming back or not coming in the library as much. So we're doing well. I think we're doing well after just a quarter of the year. I mean, this is 3 months right now. So June, July, and August. So we're not doing bad right now.
I'll make a motion to accept the September financial report.
I'll second it.
All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Okay, old business. We already discussed Maureen. Do I need to sign a letter for, congratulating Maureen?
You could. I would respond to her. I can send you her email. I mean, I can talk to her, but I mean, it could come from the board president to welcome her. I guess I don't know. It's up to you. But
That'll probably be good if I do it. Yeah, can you send me
There
her
is a formal letter in the file someplace.
She'll get
You
a
should
letter
probably-
from the mayor. There'll be a formal letter from the mayor.
what we do once we send the application.
No, but there
over
was a
to-
formal letter from the board too.
Oh,
I
was
think
there?
so. I remember a
There was a
formal
formal
letter.
letter from the board, Jeffrey, you got one.
Okay.
I probably have a hard copy of it someplace, but
Okay. Yeah, 'cause that'll-
probably the last one, probably Jeffrey was one of the last ones to get it. But,
I'll
no,
look for it. I'll look
Ellie
for it.
probably,
I remember the one from the mayor. That's all I can say.
yeah, look,
Yeah, that's once we send all of her, her application materials, and we'll have to send them over to the mayor, and then they'll approve it over there, and she'll send a letter back saying, yeah, you're good to go officially. So we'll have her. I guess it would be the start of the next meeting, which would be the 21st. Try to get all that and have her take the oath of office and do all those things too. So yeah, that's good. Okay.
Ellie and George, did you guys get a letter from the board? I thought there was a formal one.
I got a letter from the board. I honestly can't remember a letter from the mayor.
No, I don't think so. I just had to go over there and, take the oath and all that kind of stuff.
Could have been the new mayor that didn't send the letter,
Right.
but maybe
Yeah.
she did.
Well, I want the mayor to send me a letter.
Ellie, do you know where your letter from the board is? Because I remember getting a letter too, but I don't know if I still have mine. It's from like 4 years ago.
I can track it.
If you could send me a copy or a picture, I could quickly retype it from there and sign it and mail it to Maureen if Seth can get me Maureen's address too.
Yeah, I should have that. So yeah, it should be on her application. So all right.
Let's see. Old business, continuing on with old business, library clerk vacancy, Matt Moon.
Yeah, so we did hire Matt Moon as a library clerk. He's working up to 19 hours. Kathy Mills' old position. So he has been hired. He's been doing well so far. So doing good. That was obviously the position that Maureen was also interviewing for. So. Yep.
On to new business. Arbor Day event, October 8th with Terry Farrell. Was she supposed to come?
She's supposed
today?
to be here at 7 o'clock. I sent her the link. So I don't know where she is, but maybe she'll pop in soon, so I guess we can move on from there and then circle back.
Health insurance renewal.
Yeah, did you guys got all those forms and were able to look over the renewal? If we want to renew the policy, we just have to sign the rate sheet and send it back to Mary. But you guys didn't have any questions or concerns about it. Obviously, I don't know how much I could answer anyways, but you got the information.
Only concerns with how expensive health insurance is, but
One of the things I did want to mention as I just looked at this tonight too.
The big change is the out of pot is the out of network, I guess.
Right.
Sounds like they really want you to stay in network. They really boosted the out of network deductible from 500 single 1,000 family to 5,000 single 10,000 family. So they're apparently they want everybody really to stay in network, and they do have an extensive network. But that was the big change that I saw.
Yep.
That's
The out of network stuff.
scary jump. You want to stay in network.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
The one thing I just saw the benefit overview, because I just kind of, I mean, I had glanced over before I looked at it. Now, just so you guys know, it says on there enrollment and cost on one of the line items down there. And it says that we have 4 employees for employee only, and then that's it. There's no employee and spouse, but I'm on the employee and spouse plan, so that should be 1. And for employee only, we have 6 other employees on the individual health insurance plan right now. So I don't know why she has just the 4 there, but I'll have to talk to her about that. So if you were trying to do the math and adding up how much our budget should be or what the costs are, it wouldn't exactly be that. So, all right.
if
All right.
there aren't any more questions, we will take a vote on to accept the Excelis renewal.
So moved. So moved.
Second.
Everyone in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Oops, all-
I just one more point on that. I think it's important. Yeah, just one more point on that. I think it's somehow they have to convey this to the 6 people that are in the plan about this big change in out of network charges.
Yeah.
You need to talk to Mary about that, but you
Yeah.
know, people need to be told that.
I gotta
Yeah,
believe that
Out of network for Excelis is extremely rare. Only 1%
Oh, yeah.
of professionals don't participate in the blues. So you really have to go out of your way
Yeah.
to find someone out of network.
But something must have happened, Jeffrey, for them to,
Well, yeah, probably someone somewhere really soaked the
yeah, but
patient.
somehow something must have happened for them to invest it like that.
Yeah, so probably someone
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
someone really soaked somebody. But the reality is it's very difficult to be out of network with a Blue Shield plan. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So it's not an
But-
issue.
Right, but no, but the changes should be communicated to the participants. And Blue Cross, Excelis
Well, they get a handbook. They will get a
should do that.
handbook.
So you need to
They
talk to
get a-
Mary about that. She needs to
they
send
get a
something to
handbook.
them, I would think.
They'll get a handbook that shows that.
Yeah, during open
Well,
enrollment.
if they get a handbook, yeah, that'll do
Oh
it.
yeah, you'll get a handbook.
Yeah, I'll make sure
As long as they
Mary
get something.
sends
that'll do
something, and if she doesn't, I can pass this document on to the other staff members so they know.
Yeah, they'll all get handbooks,
Okay.
Seth.
Okay.
We all did vote in favor of renewing, yeah. I think we did, okay.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, the department head meeting
we did.
minutes for August.
Okay. Did everybody get a chance to look at those? They're quite extensive. I kind of wanted to go through them a little bit.
I did, and I do have a few questions. I'm just looking for the file now.
Okay, take your time.
I did not get a chance to go through them. So if you are walking through a couple of things, that would be great.
At least you came clean.
It's been busy.
See all the great participation with the summer reading programs and that. So that was really nice to see all in one place. So it was great. Congratulations to the staff for doing such a good job in a difficult time with all those programs. great to see so much participation.
Yeah, it's kind of it's difficult because again the numbers aren't exactly where they obviously used to be pre-COVID, and so this is kind of what we have right now, and we're just kind of going forward the best we can. So yeah, we had what else do we got on here? Obviously, there's some things that are important.
If a patron replaces the exact book, they still
Mhm.
got to pay $3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll still have to pay for labels and barcodes and things like that. So
Oh,
it's
okay. That makes
still got
sense.
to be processed. Uh, new clerk, we got that. Curbside delivery was one of the first issues here. We do pay the $50, as you guys have seen on the manifest, for the curbside communicator fee to Unique. It's a system that allows people to chat with us if they'd like items, placed on hold for them. It could come in. That is down right now with cases going up in the winter. I don't know if it's something we need to keep. Maybe we do, but we still would do curbside. If we got rid of it just by phone, people could still call, but just something that the staff wanted to bring up or that we brought up at the department head meeting. It's been very low, like the last month or so, of people
You
just.
said it's low, but people are still using it, right?
Yeah, they are right. I mean, but it's very sparingly. I would probably guess, a few a week maybe. So
If we discontinued it and then wanted to start it back up, is there an additional fee? Like would it, I don't know, just with things going the way they are, it seems like something we might want to keep. And like if we got rid of it, we might wish we had it again.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there would be a fee, an additional fee. It's not a significant amount of money, so I mean, it's not terrible.
Is it being promoted? Like on the website, is it something that's being actively promoted, or is it just something that here, this is something you can choose from our menu of things?
Yeah, I know we were a lot, obviously before when we were really closed and microclusters and all that type of stuff that, hey, just you can come get items. I don't know how much we're doing it lately, probably not as much, we're trying to get people to come back into the library, but, it's something that we have promoted in the past, absolutely.
I would say keep it because I'm sure I in the wintertime I'll be like, I'm too cold to get out of my car.
Okay.
I also am leaning towards just keeping it. I think that, people will want to use it.
Okay. Um, Yeah, so the main thing was on evaluations, I feel was one of the main points of our meeting. And again, I know you guys have the merit-based system and we can talk about that in conjunction or separate. I did bring that kind of template to the meeting, kind of mirroring after an actual review evaluation that somebody would get in the children's department minus, some written things that we would say, but it would be a similar scoring system. That was based on like 3 points per question, and normally it's like 2. So I just tried to figure out what would be the scale, how would we do a merit-based system if we were going to, in my vision, would be a merit-based system, would be there would be a standard 2% cost of living raise that, would be easily achievable, and then an additional amount for a merit-based raise if that was something that the department head member wanted to give one of their staff members. Was an interesting conversation. Not really well received based on the percentages maybe that I had put on the paper there. I was trying to do 3%, thinking that's kind of the most that we have offered in my tenure here. We've never given more than a 3% increase. What came up was that it may be very divisive to do something like that for an additional 1% for staff. It would it would cause increased scrutiny amongst staff and their performance to get a raise that, you know, is modest and isn't, you know, a very large quantity. Why would we put that scrutiny on staff, you know, for a raise that they've got in the past or something that may be deemed as not a lot? So I kind of was hearing department head members on that. You know, I feel similar to that. It would be pretty tough to do, but I'm open to suggestions that you guys might have if that's the system you want to go at, direction you want to go. I don't know. I don't know if a merit-based system completely like, I don't know, Jen, or what other folks are thinking, that people's salary is completely merit-based, or it'd be something like I was proposing, that you'd have a COLA raise and then you'd also have a percentage that could be merit too. I think what the department heads, I know two of them are here, are looking for was just the ability to give somebody a merit-based increase, if they really felt somebody was deserving of that, and just have the power to do that, but not it be every year your whole salary increases, or whatever your salary is going to be merit-based only. So I don't know. What are you guys feeling?
I really think this feedback was useful that was in the minutes. And I guess I don't know much about these kind of systems. And I think the whole idea came up because there was a situation where we had an exemplary staff member whose supervisor, you know, felt that it was appropriate. And it's hard, I think, as a board, not that we don't completely trust what the department head says, but it feels very subjective to just hand out a raise in that way. It feels like to protect everybody, and it's a relatively small staff, right? We have in past situations occasionally had hurt feelings, which you can't avoid. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. So it seemed like it would be better to have something sort of adopted and on paper to take away some of that subjective. Well, you know, you would hate for somebody to say, well, this person just likes this person better. I know that's not what it would be, but how would we respond to that, right? If somebody else came and said, I work just as hard as this person, why didn't I get this raise? We would need something to point to, right, that was more objective. And so I wasn't, again, this is not something I have a lot of experience with or any, so I wasn't sure. I didn't really picture it being a cost of living raise and then a small increase. I was sort of hoping it would be something whereas a way to recognize somebody who's going above and beyond, but I don't really have the answer to that. I do think this feedback was really helpful. I think we just got to keep thinking about it and try to find something that's the right fit, and maybe other board members would have an idea. I know we have people that go above and beyond. I know we have amazing, talented staff. I think we just have to find the right way to recognize that in a way that's transparent and fair and can be defended if ever needed to be.
Yeah. And I think that was what everybody's looking for too. I mean, I know salaries was discussed too in that way, about percentage increases and how the board gets to those numbers. And if there is a grade, some type of ranking that says if you're a librarian this and you've spent this many years and you have this much education, your salary would be potentially this amount, some type of security that, I know with the things that we went through last year with salary and things, but I'm wondering if that's something we can do. It's just a whole picture that allows somebody to know, hey, you've been here for 10 years and your rank is this, librarian 1 or 2. This is what your salary is going to be. I just feel like we know obviously minimum wage is going up every year. I don't know what it's going to be at the end of this year now. We know our clerks are making like $1 above that, so their salaries are kind of known, but our professional staff really doesn't know year to year, excuse me, year to year what their salary is going to potentially be. So how do we know? How do we choose 2-3%? Is 4% possible? How are we? it's hard to live, I think, a little bit in those waves if you don't know what your salary could potentially be and how it comes about, is what I would say.
So I think looking at all this, because I've
I
listened
think
to Jen wanting this merit raise, and I really like that idea. I don't know, maybe merit raise is the wrong term. What if we just called it some kind of bonus? Because a merit raise means that your salary is going to be raised forever. So I think we just need to talk about it and everybody give it some thought and come up with some different ideas. But you know, that worksheet you had, Seth, at least that I think is going in the right direction about, you know, here's your job description. So job descriptions, well, how do you do with your job versus your job description?
Right.
What does the employee think? What does their supervisor think? They talk about it. They come up with, hey, you're really doing this well. You're not doing that so well. They kind of negotiate and say, this is okay. You should get the cost of living raise. We do the cost of living raise. And then the same way with the either the merit raise or the merit bonus, whatever. Something, so it's, because someone just said, I don't like the word subjective. It's got to be tangible, something that's there that you could say that everybody's going to agree with somehow or other. So it's just going to take some work to come up with some kind of chart, graph, right? Whatever. I think it's going in the right direction though, as opposed to whatever.
Right. So, I mean, if there's a way that we could get potentially, I would think a committee with a few board members potentially on it, a few staff members, maybe myself, I don't know, and just start working on it more so. I thought this was going to be an easier process potentially, but no. So, yeah, you know, if we could do that and again, working together to say, okay, this is what the staff is looking for. This is what the board is thinking. And maybe that's where you come together and you get something hammered out. So,
Seth, is there a working model where there's a library that does, relatively similar to us, that does use merit pay as a way of, as a methodology?
I've never had that in any libraries that I worked at where there was a merit system.
I mean, to me, the hardest thing is telling somebody that they don't deserve a merit raise.
Right, and that's where, you know, it's 1% or whatever, you know, you're scrutinizing over a person's, you know, job performance even harder for 1%. It's like, what turmoil is that going to cause amongst somebody to say, well, you're not doing as good, or is this other person, and we like this other person, or the other person's doing better, and so they're going to get that 1% increase and you're not. It's like, you
So
know.
if there's not a rush that has to be done tomorrow, I'll go online and try to answer Jeff's question. Let me look at libraries, see what they have out there. I mean, there's got to be a million libraries in this country. There got to be their ways of giving raise out online. I'll go hunting for some stuff and I'll come organize it and I'll ship it to you all.
Okay.
What if
That's great.
what if it wasn't necessarily merit raises? What if it was more like, hey, you know, John did something really great last week with a patron who was having a tough time doing whatever. I think like John's supervisor could come to Seth and say, hey, he did a great job doing this specific thing last week. I think he should get a bonus of whatever, $5, $10, $15, you know, for this one time. And then someone else later on does something else just as great. So at that point in time, they'll get a bonus as well, a smaller bonus, not just you did a great job all year, here's your merit raise or your bigger bonus check, but someone else doesn't get that same reward.
I think in general, like, I think, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we're all saying we're flexible on how this looks. We just want to be able to understand what is being approved, right? And making sure that everybody is comfortable and feeling like like it's not subjective, right? That we are able to point to specific things, but maybe it's not 1% and the only option there is. Maybe there's different recommendations for different circumstances. And so we could probably hash that all out. I think, we'd be excited to be able to move forward with something. And I like all the brainstorming that's going on.
Right.
I like
I mean,
Seth's idea.
some companies do like employee of the month stuff. I mean, maybe we could look at something like employee of the quarter,
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's lots out
and
there.
every quarter do
Let's
some
just
kind of, people
list it up and then
submit
we can work our way
for different employees, and you give a cash award for the employee of the quarter or something. Yeah, to recognize people.
So, I
They
mean,
get a
again,
special, they'll get some sort of an award plus the parking place for the quarter or something, next to the building, something like that. There's different ways to recognize people.
Seth, I think that was a good idea you had about maybe getting a little committee together with some staff members, right?
right. Yeah, the issue of compensation, I'd really like to focus on this and get people comfortable. We've got great staff. We've been able to keep our staff through all this. Only lose a couple of staff members. One left again. They were able to get more money elsewhere. We don't want this to. I don't want this to be an issue at the library and people worrying about money. I mean, it's just it's not something we should worry about here. We should know, gosh, we expect a lot from our staff to give the best, and we give the best, they get the best, and this is how our organization works and why we're head and shoulders above other libraries in the area. And so if we could just get standard things set up and get plans in place, I think we'll be in a lot better spot. So, I mean, this has come up multiple times. How people are getting paid, which ways, and merit system, I think, kind of scares people when they hear that. They think their whole job performance might be based on how well, again, somebody else is viewing their work, right? That's scary. It's scary for both parties. It's scary for the department heads to have to scrutinize those people and work with them and be subjective, potentially, who gets what. And, it's maybe scary for you guys too. I don't know. So just try to get this.
That was never the intention, and we absolutely don't want to do anything that's going to create any angst. I mean, this came from a request to give somebody a raise for going above and beyond. Like, that's where this came from.
Yeah, and everyone is aware. Yeah, everyone's aware of that. I think everyone knows that. And so we want to keep it positive, right? We want to keep it, no one's the board's not trying to take your salary away. They're not trying to give you less money every year. It's not the case. So
not one bit. I mean, otherwise we would have just ignored that and moved forward. I just think we're going to have to work on it. It's complicated. The feedback is great because it's stuff we hadn't thought of. If George is willing to do some research, let's start with that. And then maybe after he does some research, maybe a couple of people and some staff could discuss what he finds, and we could go from there. We just have to find something that's the right fit for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think best of all would be, along the lines of what George said, would be a working model, someplace where what we're looking at has actually worked. Because to me, the merit pay thing, I think just the reality of it would be extremely difficult. It's just difficult to tell anybody here. For example, all the department heads, do they all get merit pay? They're the ones making decisions about merit pay. So do they all get merit pay, showing that they're capable of judging someone else? I mean, I think the complications here are very difficult, very difficult.
Okay.
Get to it, George.
I got a question. The department head minutes, Saturdays hours? Suggestion theirs or?
Right. Yep. Yeah. We can cover that here, and we can cover COVID policies. So again, JC, I think is going to be 9 to 1 or 10 to 2 themselves. Me with Ben. He also told me they're not extending their hours at nighttime at all. They're closed at 7. So I don't know what you guys want to do for Saturday hours for us. Obviously, last Saturday, we still went with the 1 to 5 hours. And when that was established, obviously, it was so, both libraries are open some part on a Saturday in Town Union. staff would obviously like to be open 9 to 1 or 10 to 2 as well. So that's going to be on what you guys think. But
I like
we,
the
we
10 to
I think 9 to 1 on a Saturday seems to make sense. Most
Okay.
people, and I mean, you should, I mean, how much, I don't know if you get a lot of activity in the Saturday afternoon, but I would think you'd get more activity in the morning.
I'm
And I think you have a
closer.
bunch of George F. Johnson people come there. They're not going to go to JC. They're going to come to us no matter what.
I would vote for the 10 to 2 only because you have parents that are coming in on a Saturday with their kids. It's a nice place to go when it's raining and the kids can't go outside and play. But at the same time, parents need a little break and it's the one day out of the week. A lot of us have to stay in to sleep a little bit. So, 10 to 2 kind of meets folks halfway. It's still early, but not ridiculously early.
I agree with Ellie. Ooh, do we need a vote on that one?
Well, yeah, we can talk about that. I guess wait till you get to the hours of operation. We'll wait till we get to the last bullet point there. But yeah, that's the that's one of them there. Was there anything else that was in the department head meeting minutes that anybody had questions on, or was
Oh,
one
Seth,
thing?
can I just ask this is going to be a very personal question from me. I see
Okay.
near the bottom that employees should discourage long conversations with patrons. I love to walk in the library and yak with employees. So
No,
who does, I mean, if I've been talking too much and people don't like it, I
no,
love to
sir.
talk with them.
Oh man, see, we got mixed signals going on. No, we've had some patrons again that, want to abuse the time limits, or, it's been a little bit of a problem with them staying, going into children's or going into other places and just kind of really hanging out for a long amount of time.
Oh,
It's kind
okay.
of creating an adverse work environment, but that's not you, George.
Okay.
So it's kind of to remind people that, yeah, again, we're friendly with everybody who comes into the library. We like to, obviously not tell people, hey, you got to go, I've got work to do, but just to remember, watch your time, watch what you're doing. Remember, you've got to move people along a little bit if they're staying too long. So it's a big part of our job. So it's not you, George, not you.
Okay.
You're okay. you're
Hey,
doing
everybody,
fine.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yes. There was a discussion, I believe, about fines, fine free for children patrons as well, somewhere. And I wanted to talk to you about that.
I know, Seth, out in my where my kids are out in Colorado Springs, they don't have any fines. I think library fines are like a passing fancy or something.
Yeah, they really are. Again, I sent you guys the information from JC about them eliminating all fines. They had started out a year or two ago about just juvenile items. So, it's something to talk about. All the libraries, I believe Broome County and I believe Vestal will be going the same way. So they'll be getting rid of fines altogether. So we would be the only library in the area that didn't have fines. It's a lot of our
Did have
budget.
fines.
I was gonna ask, how much of the budget is it?
$8,000.
Yeah, years obviously before COVID, it's $16,000. So that's our budget in Mel. So
Yeah, last year was it like 0?
yeah, it's a lot less. So
No, my kids kept borrowing books and not bringing them back on time.
this is for you. I don't know. I don't know what we can do right now as far as that goes. Talking again with department heads, a lot of them said, just for books would be okay, not for like DVDs. They were thinking, and somebody had told me that I had run the numbers for you guys years ago. What it fine for just for juvenile materials would be, $3,000 to $4,000 potentially. Yeah, it's a big amount of money, and we're in uncertain times with revenues. We're uncertain with paying for construction grants and needing money for those things. The image of being the only library that still charges fines will be something that staff and everybody will have to contend with if they're kept in place. And there's a little bit of a worry, I think, amongst staff members now with JC going fine free, what effect that'll have on our items that are interlibrary loaned. Checked out to them what the times will be in getting our materials back to our patrons. Potentially, if there's no fine associated with that, what's the incentive to bring back items? I've talked with Steve about that.
I mean, that's the downside of the no fines. Yeah. I mean, people would be keeping books longer that other people could be reading. I mean, basically, a fine is saying we made an agreement. We're going to lend you this book, and you have it for 3 weeks. Our agreement is we're giving you the book. You're part of the agreement. You're supposed to bring it back. It's a matter of response.
Right. You know,
Yeah,
and
but
That's
what's
how I look
reality,
at it.
though, Paul?
I
What's
mean,
reality?
everybody's saying it's outdated. I understand that, but on the other hand, there's responsibility. There's responsible. You made an agreement. You bring it back. Now, I can see it sometimes with the kids. The kids can't get to the library themselves. Certainly, maybe a consideration there. But
Would we consider, though, maybe during this COVID time, to suspend it for just a moment, and let's see, and that would give us time to figure out if people do return things as they should, or if it causes any other problems elsewhere. That's just the thought. I know that in New York City, if you asked, they wouldn't be too bad about waiving any fines that you might have. I mean, even the local credit union is good about that. They still charge bounce check fees and things like that. But if you ask for them to waive it, they do it like on a one-time basis, but you can actually get it done one time a lot of times, so long as you ask.
I don't know. For obviously when we had COVID, we weren't charging people for a while when we were trying to look to get our books back, for a little bit later last year, again, when we just really reopened back to the public, I guess you're July, August, just trying to get our materials back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think if we go that route, it would be hard maybe to put it back on, and say even we're trying this just for a little while.
Yeah, I agree with that, Seth.
We're in a tough situation. I'm gonna say that. If you ask me, hey, what do you think our budget will be like if we take in $8,000 less or 10 or whatever, year over year for the next 4 years till we go for a budget vote and can then ask the taxpayers to incorporate those costs, into the budget going forward, where tax revenue is not part of our operational budget. It's extra money if we don't have fines at all, so it's zero. That cost has to be absorbed some way.
what is the fine? Is that a nickel a day? Is the fine still a nickel a day, or what is it?
10
a dime
cents.
a day? What is it?
10 cents.
Pardon?
10 cents.
10 cents.
Yeah. And $1 on movies. So
10 cents after like 3 weeks or something?
no, that's 10 cents for every day it's late. An item.
Yeah, when is it late? 3 weeks? Six weeks?
Yeah, the checkout period is 3 weeks. So every day, I mean, if you don't bring it every day after it's supposed to be back, that's getting tagged on. Yeah. So.
Are there fees on our children's stuff still? Our children's books?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have fines on everything. So.
What if you were to just eliminate the fines on the children's stuff as a test?
On books.
Yeah, just the books.
Okay. Yeah, let me see that last bullet point that said there was a recent press article about local libraries going fine free. Discuss that adult children in the teens department should possibly go fine free on books, not any other materials. So yeah, if that's what you want to do, just children's books right now.
Yeah, so like it's not a complete loss of $8,000.
Okay. All right.
Is what I'm thinking. I don't know, how does the rest of the board feel?
So Seth, I mean, I'm listening to you talk. You seem to be indicating that maybe you think we should just keep the fines there for a while.
I don't know. Yeah, from a director standpoint, it's hard to say how are you going to do when we've already cut things. We haven't even restored our book budget. You know, the 10,000 that's been cut before recently, you know, in the last year. So with all the costs that we have going on, we've got large renovation projects. We're spending more money. I don't know how to do more with less right now necessarily. So any dollar less in revenue that we're bringing in right now at these times is pretty hard, right? I can't say, yeah, we're just like copy money's the same and, you know, our fax money's the same. So we're going to take a little less in fines. Okay, you know, we'll just modify the budget a little bit and spend a little less here and we should be okay. It's like all our revenue is down in those categories. So that $36,000 that we normally take in those type of categories, if it continues over the next year or two, however long this is going on, you know, it's very significant. It's going to be harder and harder to manage the budget and still do even the same things. So,
But then on the other hand, if every other library around here eliminates their fines, we're almost going to have to. So what if we just said we're not going to do anything this month and let's see what happens next month? I mean, let the staff at the circulation desk listen to what people are saying. And if people are saying, hey, I don't have to pay fees or fines in Johnson City, why don't you do that? Well, then maybe we should bring it up again.
yeah, it's going to
Are
come
we
up.
are we able to, do we have the information we need that we would be able to know approximately, right? Always approximately, right? But if we did just put this on for juvenile books, like approximately how much would that be that we would potentially
Right.
miss out on?
I think Steve could probably, at Fort County, I think there's a way they could get a report. And like I said, I think I was told that Ed had maybe got a report like that from Fort County that said, hey, this is how much you've accumulated, because obviously it goes through the system, you know, checkouts and all those stats for annual reports and things like that. So they may be able to generate a report like that for us, which we could. I don't want to persuade you guys one way or the other on this decision. That's not, you know, like not what I want to do. I don't want to say, I just am trying to give you guys the facts to tell you, you know, we'll take a financial hit. The pressure will be on for our staff members. The circulation desk will say, yeah, well, I was over at JC and I was over at Vestal and BCPL and they're all fine free, or they don't charge for children's, and gosh, I'm not going to come here anymore. I mean, that will happen, right? So it's not a matter of if, you know, it's a matter of when.
Right. But I don't think, as much as I like Ellie, her idea of temporarily doing something and then maybe putting it back, we can't put back. If you take it off.
So what if we do the where if someone asks, I mean, it's like you just said, it's not a matter of when, you know, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I would add to that, it's a matter of how often. How often are people asking for fees to be waived? If they ask, I think that by saying, you know what, we can take care of that for you. It creates a nice environment where people feel, oh, you know, if I ask, I can get rid of this. I kind of let this get out of hand and now I can't afford to pay these fees or whatever. But, you know, giving that that leniency and saying, hey, no problem, we'll take care of that for you.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's something traditionally we do here and there.
Well, I think what George said is, you know, just see if you get some feedback.
Yeah.
Following George's suggestion, we'll just see if our people get some feedback saying, hey, you're not doing it. And, you know, see if we get a lot of negative.
Yeah.
response? I mean,
I guess I like that idea that at least we'll give it a month. We can re-meet, convene. Obviously, there'll be another department head meeting, at least one within that time. And so
and,
maybe,
and you can tell the staff if somebody asks, you guys are the only ones that have the fine. They don't have it in JC.
we'll maybe keep track of
We can
it.
see if you get a lot of feedback that way.
Yep. Okay, and we'll revisit it next month then. How's that?
And
Yeah.
Seth, you're right. I think Ed
All right,
did.
so I'm not going to make my. What's that, Jen?
I said Ed did get a report for us, and I think you're right. It was like $4,000 or $5,000 for the children's books, and we
Okay.
decided at that time not to go fine free for the reasons you just stated, because it was, a pretty big hit to library revenues. I agree. Maybe let's give it another month, but I think he was able to just get a report of what was from each category. Of course, that'll be different now with our current situation, but.
Right. I mean, you'd almost have to look and see if it would be like a year or two back, right, to get a full budget picture. So, okay. Well, let's try and do that. Let's try to get updated numbers and hear from patrons, hear
Well-
from the department heads, and then we'll maybe be able to come with a better informed decision next month. Make a better informed decision.
Based on the tone of the conversation we've had, I won't make my suggestion about doubling the fines, or I'll just pass on that one.
Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Paul.
Okay. So the next thing on the agenda, Emily.
The rear entrance coping painting.
Okay. So you got the card from the gentleman, Mark tipped in there. He came into the library, talked to me for a little while. He does commercial painting, and he saw the kind of rusted coping in our back entrance there, the metal panels, and they're kind of in bad shape. And he wanted to offer to do that work for free. So again, I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention and see what you wanted to do.
Oh, for free?
I like free. Free is
Who's that
good.
again, Seth?
Yeah. Free's
Free.
good.
Free.
Yeah.
So moved.
That's my first
So moved.
language.
So
Second.
moved.
I second it.
What?
Yeah,
Why
Ellie
is he so
seconded it.
generous? Do we know?
Ellie did it. Melissa, Ellie did it.
I don't know. Yeah, he's a patron here, or he just kind of used the library and came in and probably, in his line of work, seeing something like that, probably said, yeah, that looks like it needs a little help.
A lot of library fines.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, is he a painter? Does he paint, or
Yeah,
does he have to go up high on the ladder?
yeah, he's owner of Mark's Painting. Yeah, so I sent you the card there that had his information. Mark Tipton is his name. So it seems like a very nice guy.
I would love if we vote yes, I would love for us to maybe have a flyer saying, thank you, Mark, and have his business information on that bulletin board. Just really trying to help him and support his business in return, because I think that's a pretty darn nice volunteering there.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
So
That might start something in the community.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
So the vote is to accept Mark paintings
Right.
of painting the, what is it, coping?
Hoping. Yeah,
Coping?
Yeah.
hoping.
For free. For
Yeah,
free.
for free.
Free.
For $0.
If that changes, well, I'll let you guys know. But that was what the conversation was. So. Okay.
Anyone want to make a motion?
Yeah. So moved. So moved.
I second it.
Everyone in favor?
Jen, you want to tackle the next one?
Yes, so our community foundation grant application, Seth, Ellie, and I worked on the letter of intent and sent that in. and we were invited to submit the full application. This is for a new modern ADA compliant circulation desk. And this was pretty awesome because they received 43 letters of intent and only sent out 17 letters inviting full applications for the grant.
Oh.
So the grant is due in on Monday. And Seth has been helping with get some of the materials we need together for the grant. A draft is written. Seth and Ellie are helping with the final language. But one thing I wasn't sure about, but I think we're all set with that now, thanks to, again, to Seth's research on this, is the price of the desk on the quotes. It's around $16,000. The quote said did not include installation. And of course, we have to tear out the old desk, put in the new desk. There may be some wiring and rerouting of phone and electronics. But it sounds like Seth has a letter from someone at the company where we'd buy the desk that that's actually part of the deal, that they're going to do the tear out and the installation. We may need to get some electrical work done, but Seth, you're still expecting maybe a price on that?
Yeah, I mean, he might send us a quote. There was two Toms. So Tom from Parlor City is the owner there of Parlor City Furniture. They had bought out Upstate Furniture, so that's who I've been working with. He brought his electrician the other day, day before yesterday, just to see what work might have to be done. Obviously, we have some dimmer switches that'll have to be relocated to the new desk, and potentially some electric conduit and things like that. So what's there now can be worked around, or he'll modify the desk to work with electrical that's already there. But it would be nice to tidy and maybe move some of the electrical. Like there's like the desk has 3 separate panels for monitors and things. So underneath that, maybe you would have its own standalone electrical box, like a quad for electrical box for each thing to plug in separately. And so wires wouldn't have to get run all the way to one side or the other to kind of, power strips and whatnot. So it would be nice to have that work done, but it's not, if we don't do it, the desk can't be installed and the work can't be done. So I'm hoping that he gives us a price and says, hey, we would do this, this, and this. I'll show you guys, but I would also try to show the village light department folks and see if, hey, maybe they could just come over and do that same work. It would probably work out better, maybe, obviously, if it's free, but then also easier with hours they're tearing things out. Okay, they can work overnight or, come in early in the morning or something and do that type of work. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of a matter of the board being prepared that we might have some cost associated with this piece of it.
right.
I hope, I know we keep getting hit with extra costs for things, but I hope that we would agree that we would want to see this happen if we were awarded the grant. And I also want to say, Seth kind of has talked to a few patrons in the Friends group about this project, and we do have a anonymous patron at this time who is making a significant contribution towards this project, which is helping us because we don't have to ask for the full amount. And the patron has actually pledged about 25% of the total cost of the desk. So it's a major, major gift. I think that really shows the granting organization how much our patrons are invested in the library and want to see these kind of improvements for the staff and the other patrons. So I hope we have no guarantee that we're going to get the award, but should we get the award, we might need to be prepared to shell out a little bit of money to do this right, to make sure, I don't know, we may have to do something a little bit with the floor, but hopefully we can find a way to do that if we do receive the award.
Right. And so the other
Yep,
thing with
I
that,
think that's true, Jennifer, because when you look at Tom's letter, he's talking to a server guy, a phone guy. There's guys outside of his realm of responsibility. So there's going to be more cost someplace in this. There is.
You know, with yeah, that's a good point. Just a couple of things that you said there. The cables, you know, for computers and things. I mean, that could be Fort County obviously coming, and we would have to have them involved too to kind of reroute all the Ethernet cables, all the data cables. That's quite a bit down there. There was cables when he took off one of the bottom shelves that I didn't even know was down there. So it kind of was kind of a experience. So there's that, and there is some carpeting issues where the desk is. There is some missing carpeting that was not put down there when the desk was installed. So probably 2-3 feet of carpeting. Again, he's saying where we place the desk, it would be hidden. So worst case scenario, I guess we obviously don't have that carpeting or extra carpeting of that carpeting. It's, you know, whatever. But we do have some carpet tiles from Children's or upstairs that we could just put in there, and it's not going to be noticeable. So it was encouraging that it wasn't, yes, this is going to be $2,000 potentially or some huge large amount of money to get this desk in. It's things that you want to do, we probably should do, but are not detrimental to getting the grant into.
So, but in terms of the grant, part of the application is to install or is to submit a total project budget and to also talk about, you know, who our other partners are. I want to be able to say with the board's blessing that, you know, we will take care of the cosmetic and wiring things should we receive the award. I don't want to just ignore that. I feel like if I was reviewing the grant application, I would wonder about that.
So do you want to, Jen, ask the board if they'll support the board spending up to a certain amount for the grant?
Yeah.
We get Tom. I mean, Tom's supposed to send this to me. I'm hoping tomorrow. I was hoping for today, but there is some significant cost.
Right. And when you get it, we'll deal with whatever you receive, and hopefully I can use that as part of the budget. But I mean, this is something we've wanted to do for a long, long time. I think it's an important thing for the library. It's such a visible thing. You know, in the grant, we're saying it's really the physical heart of the library where all the business is transacted. So I think we should all support this, especially with so much of the cost being covered, hopefully by the grant and this patron. But we don't want to lose out because we're missing some detail that we should have thought of.
Right.
And again, having some skin in the game, right, is always the idea. You're just like, oh, we'll do it if it's fully covered. You know, if we can get the money for you guys or somebody else to pay, that's great. But we don't want to pay and put any money into it. So
Exactly.
I absolutely agree. Are you thinking $1,000, Jen, or maybe 2,000 at the most?
No more than but I was thinking $1,000 should cover everything, and especially with the contingency, like you were saying. Okay, maybe we have some mismatched carpet, or if we have to, right? Just the important thing is to get it in. But yeah, and you know, I will excuse myself from that motion and vote since I've been working on the grant. But I think that would help.
I think that's all good, Jen. We agree. I agree. Let's do it.
So the motion is for the library to spend up to $1,000 to help facilitate getting the circulation desk
Installed.
so, yeah, installed.
Yeah, not towards the cost of the desk at all. That will be covered, but towards the installation.
Based on
So
what
moved.
the
So
electrician
moved.
is going to send Seth in regards to however much he's going to cost. Okay.
So
Anyone
moved.
second that?
I'll second.
And Jen's not voting, so everyone in favor say aye. Or raise your hand. Let's see, diversity, equity, and inclusion language for library docs.
That's me again too. So as part of this letter of intent, one of the questions that we had to answer and write about was whether or not our library has made any efforts to include DEI, or the diversity, equity, and inclusion language in our anything for the library. And this is something I think that we should be doing anyway. I mean, working on the grant made me think about it, but for anybody who's unaware, this is really just a a way to make sure everyone feels welcome, everyone's opinions are, you know, respected and sought out. And I think as a community library, it's important that we really make it very clear that we are a welcoming and inclusive space. So there's different ways we could add a few sentences. I would be happy to work on some language. You know, some things to consider would be our employee handbook, you know, our bylaws as a board, maybe even our library mission statement should be updated. It doesn't have to be a big complicated thing. There's probably a couple sentences we could include to make sure that it was clear that we, you know, we're certainly in favor of supporting our diverse community.
I'll make that motion that Jen does what she wants.
I could write up a few things and have it ready for the, you know, some language and have it ready for the next meeting. But there's tons of resources out there for this. And we did put in the grant that we were going to discuss making those changes to some of our documents, which I think we should do anyway.
Yes, we should do this anyway. This is not even a question.
So the motion to that Jen update some of the policies and the language in some of these policies. George,
I'll propose it, you know, I'll bring it to you at the next meeting. So I don't think we need to vote now.
oh, okay.
I'll get something by the time Seth sends out the meeting information for the next meeting. And then everyone could have a look at it, and maybe that would be the appropriate time to either adopt it or not, or modify it, whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
We already covered the merit-based raise system, right?
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything that they wanted to say on that? Are we good?
We're good.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so the construction grant for the Scott room and bathroom installation.
Yep. So you guys got the you got the application. You got the contract this afternoon.
Oh,
Rob dropped it off at 3 o'clock or so. So I sent that to you guys. It looks like it's like $8.35 difference in the cost from the paper that we got last month to now. So I just want to let you know that. And if everybody agrees to it, then hopefully Emily could sign it either digitally or come in the library, and we can get ready for that work.
Jen, I want you to know that Melissa and I did ask Rob about how come we got the world's most expensive bathroom. And he did tell us that it's because he has to, you know, we're below the sewer line. So he has to excavate the floor. So just, I wanted to make sure I asked your question. It's okay.
I did watch the meeting, so yes, I was curious, and I appreciate you asking the question about the, yes, that we could have bought a small house for the price of
Yes,
that.
that's right. That's right. Yes.
Thank you.
So does everybody want to go forward with the contract for the Scott room renovation and the bathroom installation project?
the bottom number says 124,000. Is that right?
No, it's the 148, whatever number it is.
Okay, where is it?
It's 148 something. Uh, 148, 935, 32. So $148,935.32. And again, it was, I believe, $8.35 more than what we had got quoted last month. So,
Is that number in the stuff that Rob sent, like on the AIA forms?
yes, it is. Let me count the page. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Looking at the 124 that Emily just mentioned.
It's page 9. It's page 9. It says it's got the tips, the United States of America, and it's got tips for the flag.
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
That page. So if you've got it up, look at that page.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Do you know why the AIA stuff does not say the 148 though? 935?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or at least I can't find it, that's all.
The AIA says 124, 112, right?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Is that what you're looking at, Emily?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, don't go by that
Yeah, that's
number.
what I see too.
Don't go by that number. I talked to Rob and I asked him today when he dropped the contract off that, you know, hey, is the numbers about what you gave us last month, the 148? And that he said, yeah, it was. So that's definitely the number that we should be approving, which makes sense.
But they only put 124 in this contract. It looks like.
Maybe you'll get lucky. We'll
I
sign
found
it.
it. Article 4, contract sum, page 3
On
of the
page 11 comes to one.
on page Paul, on page 3 of the PDF,
Page
Scott
3?
room and bathroom contract. Yeah. In the middle, well, towards the top more.
Yeah.
It says Article 4 contract sum.
Right.
It does say 148,935.
Okay,
And then the other page says it too. So
Yes, and the tips page says it too.
so then we're okay, Emily, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I can't sign it digitally tonight, I'll come by the library tomorrow.
it's fine.
Right.
Well, does everybody want to make a motion to
Yep.
approve and
To
vote on the
make a
contract?
motion to accept the Scott room and bathroom contract for 148,000. What is it again? 935 and 32 cents.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. I'll second.
Everyone in favor, raise your hand. Okay, New York Hero Act Prevention Plan.
So did you guys get a chance to look at that? I guess that these have been needing to be on file. Well, they've got to be approved by the boards and then kind of be put on file here. So it's different than our pandemic response plan. It's just another kind of plan that New York State is wanting us to have. So
That's right.
kind of follows the same guidelines pretty much as the pandemic response. Steve told us that while there's not a specific library policy or plan, this retail industry one that it says on the top is kind of the one that we'd want to go with and use. So I pre-filled it out with what I thought was pertinent information, and yeah, we can approve it unless somebody else wants to add something or change or modify something.
I think it's good to go.
A motion to approve the New York, what is it, Hero Plan?
Yeah, I'll make
So
a motion.
moved. So sorry. I'll second. You go ahead.
Okay.
Everyone in favor, raise your hand. Ellie's screen froze, so I didn't see her actually raise her hand.
She'll come back. Aimed. Okay.
COVID policies and procedures.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about that. Again, I think that was probably mentioned in the department head meeting minutes as well. I don't know. I know that came up as a topic, but I think, you know, the general consensus among staff and myself is that the hours are pretty good. Excuse me, I wouldn't think we would need to expand hours back or, you know, be open 9 to 9. I think we're meeting the needs of the community with the hours that we have.
Beth, do you anticipate any change in that based on school starting? Like, I mean, it always seemed like, you know, I used to be there one evening a week. It didn't seem like it was packed with people, but it did seem like there would occasionally be students, maybe they're doing homework or something. Do do you anticipate that being a need? I mean, it's a pretty big change to go from open till 9 to, do you close at 6 now?
Right.
So, I
Well,
mean,
yeah. Yeah, we've
I,
been doing it, I guess, since when? Since last March. So, I mean, this isn't even the first, school year or something. I mean, I know things were different. People probably remote too a lot. I don't think it would be too much, Jen. I don't think it would have that big of an impact. Again, I just didn't think of your classes as well, though. Task classes wouldn't go forward, right? We'd be closed.
no, not without an evening. And the only thing that worries me a little bit is just our tax vote, that we're not providing the level of service that we were. I mean, there's a lot of people, I think, that work during the day that would come to the library in the evening. I did see there's some questions about staffing, because now you have to have somebody in the lobby, right, to make sure that patrons have masks on. So things have changed. So you probably don't have the staff for that.
I think early voting is going to be a challenge as well with that, and we would have to be open now those times. I think 8 o'clock on some couple of the times. I sent you guys that too. So, but yeah,
I don't know. I do have some concerns for our people who work during the day and would not have access to the library in the evening. But I don't have enough, experience. I guess I would ask that you just sort of pay attention to if you're hearing from people that they wish that they
Right.
could use the library in the evening, because I certainly want to meet that need
Mhm.
for people.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody, but we certainly haven't had people banging down the door, at the circ desk saying, when are you guys going to be open until 9 again? I mean, that I've never heard that. So,
We're hearing it from people who want my task program to.
well, right. And again, if I mean that, again, that's, something if you want to do, Jen, I wouldn't even say that that's not a possibility if the library was open or you had access to hold the class, you know what I mean, at 8 o'clock or whenever it was. I don't want to say, well, the library is closed, you couldn't be here, right? I think you could still do a program at 8 o'clock or till 8 o'clock and have those select people come, right? Potentially, or
It's a
no?
little bit too hit or miss with our clients. I mean, we had people drifting. I wouldn't want the responsibility of running a program when the library wasn't open. I'm not asking for myself at all. I guess I just want to make sure we're not. It's such an important service, and if there are people who work who are trying to come in, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we should maybe consider like 2 evenings a week or something, even if it's not all the way till 9, but a couple extra hours. And I don't know, the staffing might be an issue. I understand that, but I'm a little bit worried about not moving a little bit in that direction. I don't know what everybody.
I agree. I was going to ask too, would we be able to pull off one night a week, just to have that option for the people who do, miss all the hours just from working. So I like the idea, if we're able to do it, to be able to provide that option.
Well, just to start from scratch, I'm just curious, why aren't we going back to regular hours? Our regular hours were 9 o'clock. Why
Yeah.
aren't we going back to them?
I mean, with COVID and again with staffing concerns, it would be just really hard with the extra desks that we have to man. It's trying to rotate people. It's really been quite the difficult challenge to just keep somebody at the lobby desk too and require that attention. But I don't think the patron attendance or the circulation really would warrant being open. That it's not to say that previous times, obviously 9 o'clock hour was pretty slow, even in good times, right? 8 to 9 was a very slow hour. But now you have health concerns that say, hey, we're trying to be cautious with COVID. Yeah, let's be open more and have more people potentially come in during, additional hours. I don't know. That's why we cut back the hours. That's why we weren't open, before. So, what is our messaging and what are we trying to do and try to say? That's up to you guys. So, but
I I mean, I'm
one
all
night a
in
week.
favor of extending the mask mandate and you know, the distancing and all that, but a couple extra evening hours open don't seem like they're increasing the risk all that much. I'm just thinking of how in defending that, right?
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
of course, with all those policies still in place. And I think you're right. You're not going to be filled with people, but for those few people who might need it, it could be an important, you know, service.
I'm not saying no, that's that's correct. You know, but you know, again, will we be able to pull it off? Will we be able to have enough people to man the desks to work those hours? You know, that would be, you know, still yet to see. I guess we'd have to try to schedule it and see, you know, just mock it up and see. But what hours are you thinking? What days? How late? Those are all the questions. So yeah, I wouldn't go much past 7 o'clock, but maybe just an additional hour. Like you said, if people get out of work at 5, they have 2 hours to get to the library past that. But and like I said, JC, no matter if it's COVID or no COVID, they're not even going back to 8 o'clock where they used to be open at 8. So no other library in the system, even pre-COVID or post-COVID, was open past 8 o'clock. We were the only library that was open till 9 o'clock.
I mean, but historically we were. I mean,
Yes.
I not on Friday nights, but you know, right, Monday through Thursday we were open till 9, and I anticipated that we would go back to our normal hours. You know, event. Of course, this is lingering on longer than anyone thought, and all that. But I did think we would go back to our regular hours. Certainly would hope that we would eventually do that. So it's not that you've lost staff, it's you need extra staff to man the lobby desk to make sure that people have masks on and that you're counting people in that. So it's almost like you have an extra job, right?
Right.
That has to be done while you're open. Is that the main problem?
Yeah. Right, you know, and gosh, the lobby desk is such a problem for so many things, you know, and again, you're trying to work out there or not get your work done because you're trying to focus on if somebody has a mask and they're not and they get past you or something. So you almost can't just really do a lot of work out there. So you're losing time that you would do your normal duties in those hours that you're at the lobby, if that makes sense. So yeah, again, I hear what you're saying.
Seth, if we used to be open till, yeah, excuse me, if we used to be open till 9 o'clock 4 nights a week, and now we're saying, well, let's be open till 8 o'clock for starters for 2 nights. That's still less hours than it used to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's 4 hours versus
right.
Whatever it was, 16 hours. So I mean, that's still far less than it used to be.
Right.
If you said like Tuesdays and Thursday nights, we'll go till 8 o'clock. And then eventually get back to, as Jen said, our regular hour.
It's totally up to you guys, what you'd like to do. And again, you're the board. So we will try to, that's the 2 days you want to do 2 or whatever you want to do, we'll try to work that. The other thing was the 10 to 2 on Saturday or whatever Saturday hours. Again, we used to be 9 to 5 on Saturdays. So 4 hours. It's been working out. It's half the time, but it's what you guys would like to do. So tell me what you want to do.
Have you heard any patrons complaining about how, like, oh, it's so hard to get there by 5 kind of thing?
No. And again, it's 6. Yeah, it's 9. We're 9 to 6. Yeah, so 9 to 6, 9 to 5 on Fridays. Right. What are you guys feeling?
I'm liking staying open till 7 at the minimum one evening, like a Wednesday or something.
Who else?
Oh, and Saturday 10 to 2.
10 to 2. Okay. Let's do Saturday first. Does everybody want to do Saturdays 10 to 2?
I have no objection to that.
I'm good with that.
Okay. Motion.
I don't care. Whatever you like.
So motion 10 to 2 on Saturdays.
Yeah. Okay, that was Ellie making a motion. Anyone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Everyone in favor, raise your hand.
What about weekday hours now? How late do we want to be on weekdays consistent, or 1 or 2 days weekdays? And what days? So is it
I would
Tuesday,
say the
Wednesday,
latest 7.
7 o'clock? Okay. And what, 4 days, 2 days? What do you want to do?
Um,
Because obviously we close already on Friday. We close at 5, so we're not going to go 7
Right.
o'clock on that day. So it's Monday through Thursday. What do you want to do?
What?
I don't think we need all those 4 days, just several at the most.
What?
Did you?
How late were we
Can we just try one?
pre-COVID again?
Well,
Was
Can
it
we just try one
Monday to
day?
Thursday?
we were 9 to 9 Monday through Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Pre-COVID was 4 days till 9 o'clock. Yeah. I don't know if it's worth 1 day for an hour. Why even bother doing it?
Yeah, I was
do
gonna
at
say
least 2
one day
days.
until 8 maybe, because then you have that late day where the people who can't make it, they have a day that they can stop in.
Till what? I'm sorry.
I like till 8 o'clock one day a week.
It might be confusing. I mean, it might be better to be consistent with it, you know? I mean, we already know Fridays was always 5. Like that has historically been that way. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like there hasn't been a vocal demand for it, but I really want to see us go back to our normal hours eventually.
Okay, yeah, so that was the other real question that I wanted to ask everybody. So even post-COVID, right, where we're going, hopefully, is that everybody's idea is that we would go back to being open till 9 o'clock Monday through Thursday? Because I guess why would you increase your weeknight hours if we're never going there, right? Or are we trying to get there and we're not doing it fast enough? So is everybody thinking we're going to go back to 9 to 9 Monday through Thursday?
I was assuming that, you know, that was my thought. We would go back to our original
I mean,
level of.
yeah, I tend to agree with that too. I mean, the whole idea is, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree with that too. We
I
should go
didn't
back
think we
eventually.
wouldn't. Yeah.
Eventually. Eventually.
Okay. So
That should be the
it's not.
plan.
Okay. So 8 o'clock, we're not thinking we're going to eventually ever be at 8 o'clock. We're always going to try to get back to 9 o'clock open Monday through Thursday. Okay. So knowing that, 7 o'clock right now until what is the metric or what is the reasoning behind why we would be doing this? Just because we want to get back, or are we saying we've been closed long enough? I mean, just give me something that I could say to somebody as to why we're going to try this and staff. What do we say to them?
I do think there are a lot of people out there who work during the day and would have to come like maybe after dinner, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't think we're ready to go back to 9 to 9 now. I'm not at all saying that, but I would like to head in that direction, and just for the sake of consistency,
Mhm.
it might make sense to just be open a couple hours later those 4 days, right? Just so that you don't have to be advertising, oh, it's this day or that, and that annoys people too,
Well, that's
right?
what I'm saying. You know, we like 8 this week, 7, then like we don't want to do that. And so
And people get
is
mad.
there is there a time? Is there a reason? Is there something you say? Well, then in 3 months we're going to try to be back to 9 to 9, or this gives people time, staff, other people to understand, right, where we're going and what we're trying to do. So 7 seems fine. I mean, I'm hoping we could work it out. Obviously, schedule wise, I'm sure we will. We always do. Is that everybody's thinking for 2 or 4 days now? I think that's where we're at. 2 or 4 days.
Propose 4 days, and if we could move it an extra hour to 7 and just see how your attendance is now that you're open that extra hour, can we then revisit the issue? And just to keep it consistent so people aren't showing up on the wrong night or something.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
Oh,
Now, the question is, if we do that, Seth, how do you let the patrons know?
Well,
You gonna put
obviously,
up a sign or?
marketing, yeah, social media and signs and everything, how we
Yeah,
do it
maybe
all.
a sign at the circulation desk or
Yeah, we'll let people know. That's not a concern.
something saying we've changed our hours, we're gonna be open up the extra hour.
So, I guess the motion would be to change our hours Monday through Thursday, close at 7 p.m. and keep Friday the same from 9 to 5.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
What?
second that motion. I'll second it.
Everyone in favor, raise your hand.
Okay. We haven't talked about Arbor Day. I'm going to check my email while I'm here just for a second to see if Terry reached out.
Are we changing the, hold on, are we changing the mask requirements or no?
Oh, we didn't talk about that. I haven't got anything from Terry. Right, we've got that on there. And patron time limits before I jump the gun. I wouldn't change the mask requirements. Again, if we didn't, obviously it'd make it easier on the lobby desk, but it's not about easy, it's about what we should be doing, potentially. And yeah, I think with the cases rising, it's a real concern. I mean, we're not seeing, I thought we would be here in September and we would have said cases are down and we can take masks off now and we can do all this stuff. And it's just not what we're seeing. And
I think we got to wait until kids can get vaccinated too. I mean, I think we have to leave the mask mandate in place until something changes with that. Like you said, Seth, either cases go way down or something changes with the vaccination situation. So I would make a motion to continue with our current mask requirements.
I would second that motion.
Do we need a motion to just continue?
well, yeah, I mean, we did say we were gonna look at it. I mean, I don't know, but
Oh,
it's
okay, that's
gonna
right.
work. I mean, we
Yeah.
said September.
Yeah.
We don't want to. What do you want to base it on that we'll review this again in the future? Is this a monthly discussion or is this until a vaccine for children, Jen?
I think we should just still continue to review it since things change so much. Who knows what October will bring or when the colder comes or.
So it'll just be a month-to-month basis reviewed at the board meeting.
I think that's a good idea, month to month.
Me too.
Okay. Patron time limits as far as, again, at the desk, I have got that one. I've got folks saying, gosh, I'd like to be here longer than an hour. Why is it only an hour? Other libraries don't have this restriction necessarily. So it is hard. We don't do what every other library does. I always like to emphasize that we're our own entity and our own, own safety. Those folks were not doing masks, a month or so ago, and we said, we should still be doing masks, and it turned out, we should still be doing masks, and they've had a harder time trying to reinstitute mask mandates for patrons now to say, hey, you gotta have a mask on coming to the door. So we lead differently than the other libraries. It's good to know what they're doing, but it's not necessarily to say we have to do what they're doing.
Seth, the purpose of that was to avoid overcrowding during this pandemic. Is that right?
Right.
And I get the impression you're saying we're not really crowded. Is that right or not?
Again, with numbers being down, no, but it might create a situation where we are limited with our computers. People still all coming in now.
Is this strictly the computers we're talking about?
No. I mean, this would be people sitting in the library reading, doing whatever they wanted to do. But again, computers would be a part of that, right? That, hey, well, there's no limit. I can sit here for an hour.
Didn't we always have a limit on computers, Seth?
We kind of did, but we gave extensions. There was no reason for really people to say, well, I need some more time. Okay, it's no problem. We just give you more time, 30 minutes even. Most of the times they could get an hour and a half on a computer potentially. Now, if people are waiting or whatever it is, you gotta stick to that more. And scrutinize that more. So who do you give extra time to? Well, we gave somebody extra time. There wasn't somebody waiting. Now there is somebody waiting. it's a little bit of it'll be a little bit of a situation. So we could still,
Yeah.
you
Well, I
know,
can see with the computers that would play in, yeah.
yeah, so that's at least one thing. You know, meetings and things, again, having meetings with people, how long should they be able to sit into meetings for and knit or whatever meeting it's going to be? Should they, you know, we're saying, gosh, you should be safe still, you know, got to wear your mask, do all these things, but yeah, come on and stay for 2 hours if you want, you know, meet with folks. We're not monitoring them down there, watching them on camera, making sure, you know, social distancing. We're telling them, yes, you should be practicing social distancing and following our policies and procedures. But again, so it has a, it's not just, hey, they're going to come in and hang out a little bit. It's not just black and white exactly. But uh, I'll leave that up to you guys if you want to extend patrons' use of the library over an hour. But how much or keep it the same, whatever you want to do.
So you're basically saying like you think it would be in the best interest to keep it the same because of the volume of people.
Well, I would say because it follows the policies that we're keeping and the ideals that we're already putting in place, right? The mandates we're saying, you know, as far as hours, we're not going back to full hours. We got to follow social distancing. We should be doing all those things, you know, until all those things come down and we can actually act like it's normal again. I don't see why, but I mean, maybe you could do hour and a half in the library would allow people a little bit more time. And we're trying to work towards that, like Jenna's saying with hours or whatever it is. But we're certainly not telling people you can stay for 2-3 hours or whatever you like at the library. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I feel like I would only want to increase it if we know it's not going to affect the social distancing and all the other pieces that are keeping the library safe for
Right.
everybody.
So I think, you know, again, if you say meetings are still an hour or maybe, you know, where people would be gathering, right? Obviously, potentially in situations that were not as safe or, you know, computer usage, again, closer area, people are still an hour. If the discretion could be with the staff members, if it's very dead in there and there's one person on a computer, you're not really around somebody, you can have an hour and a half. It's okay. You know, it's okay. You're here, you know, for an hour and a half. We'll give you some more time. But I would still probably say we keep to those policies as close as we can, with maybe again an hour and a half being the time limit that you guys would extend the patron visits to max in any situation.
Well, aside from the computers and the meetings, who else would need an hour or so? I guess people used to just hang out a little bit there. Is that it?
Right.
If
Yeah,
you're not on the computer and you're not in a meeting, you're just kind of hanging out there.
yeah, people do, right? They, you know, there's people who would be there literally 8 hours of the day at the library. We would see them 8 hours. And it would lead to some of the situations where we had in the meeting minutes again about patrons talking and stopping because there's no limit. There was no reason to, you know, hurry up a conversation. I want to sit talk with George. He wants to sit and talk with me for half an hour. He can do that, or an hour. You know, it's when I'm kicking out the door. Now with the hour, it's actually helped the library a little bit in those ways because people have their time. They know they have their limit. They get their things done. You know, they can conversate a little bit, but okay, I got to stick to my hour and be out the door. So, yeah, from a staff perspective, it's been a little bit better in that. But an hour and a half, I don't think would be a terrible thing. It allows people to know we're trying to move in the right direction, even if things are a little murky or not perfect. But we're not letting people stay for 5-6 hours a day. That makes sense.
What's your recommendation, Seth?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's hard. You know, hey, do you want to increase the hour limit for patrons while cases are going up and there's still no vaccine for kids? Yeah, sure, let's do. I mean, you know what I mean? It's very hard to say that this is our messaging, this is our messaging, this is our messaging that people are dealing with on the front lines, and you know, then we're trying to go further away from that. It is very hard to do, and then tell people, you know, hey, keep wearing masks,
No,
keep
they
doing
should
all
stick
this
to the
stuff.
rules. It's easier for the staff, everybody else, if you stick to the rules.
Yeah, I would
So,
say leave it at an hour then. It seems to help the staff in terms of like productivity.
Not George, not George.
He's exempt.
No, wow.
He's exempt from fines and
Okay.
time limit.
Yeah. Okay, we could leave the patron time limit the same. That's fine. It's fine. No one's gonna be too up in arms about it. Again, we haven't had huge patron blowback. I don't wanna lead on to saying, you know, every patron's come in here and they're gosh so upset at 1 hour. Again, for the majority of patrons, 95% of patrons, that's plenty of time. It's patrons that we know that need extra, want to be here, you know, all day, multiple hours. Those are the ones who have the issue. Does anybody want me to call Terry, or do you want me to just give you the rundown of what's happening at the October 8th Arbor Day event?
I'd say you give us the
Why
rundown.
don't you give us
You
the
can give us the
rundown?
rundown. Give us the rundown.
Brief version. The brief version.
Yeah, so we did meet with Terry, I think last week or so, and you know, she reached out to me about the Arbor Day event. She's part of the Endicott Tree Committee, and one of the folks that was upset about obviously the trees being taken down. And I had spoken to her again when that incident happened. I want to say incident, just when we took down the trees because of safety. So we spoke with her, and Sarah Jo and I walked around the library, looked at a couple places we may think that would be good places to plant the trees. There's going to be 3 of them. We obviously didn't want them placed in the same place where the 2 were just taken down next to the building. Wouldn't make much sense. So we found some near the parking lot, but it's kind of the walk area where there's a lot of grass. There's some already trees by the parking lot, but very far away. And then there might be one by the front entrance, kind of in the corner, you know, in the left-hand corner near the police station, more towards that way, where another one of the trees will be planted. So I think a good safe area. Everybody's trying to bury the hatchet or whatever it is that did occur. The mayor should be there. Trustee Warner should be there. Other trustees potentially will be there. October 8th at 5:30 p.m. I guess I was going to ask Terry if she was here, if it'll be dark at 5:30 p.m. in October. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be dark out there. The reasoning, obviously, Arbor Day is not normally till I think April, but just to get the trees in the ground before winter comes is the main concern.
Yeah, just as long as they see where they're going, Seth. We don't get into an issue with them that they thought they should go someplace else, that's all.
Right, and so that was, again, working with Terry on this. They want to become a Tree City USA. I think Town of Union is a Tree City USA, maybe Binghamton is too. It just says the municipality is doing certain things to protect the trees in the community, not just cutting down trees, whatever. And, you know, there's some good things that'll happen. They can apply for grants for maintenance for the trees, which we still have multiple trees that are dead on the property. No foliage, no nothing. You could visibly see that they're dead. You wouldn't have to cut them down. They're in bad shape. So I hope that is something to bring up. I know Jen or somebody had said we used to have a liaison. We never had one exactly when I've been here. So from the village, which I think would have helped in this. Obviously, if we would have known there was a resolution, you know, we maybe have taken a pause. Not that the wrong thing was done. Obviously, the right thing was done, and the trees coming down. But maybe a different way. We could have talked to everybody. I was under the assumption that the mayor was talking with them, and there was a little bit of an issue. And so, but you know, obviously, I thought when the street department gave their blessing, you know, and told them, hey, we're from the street department, we're from the village, they should come down, it was a done deal. So that was not the case. So yeah, I think this will mend some fences the best that they can. We're working with anybody. We will work with anybody and just kind of go from there. I don't know if any board members want to attend that event on the 8th. It would be up to you. I think I'll be here. So it's a Friday, I believe.
It's like during the day, right?
5:30.
Oh, no, 5:30?
Yep.
Okay.
So, you know, and this will, like I said, my hope is that they work on a database, what's here, what trees are in bad shape and then bring them down. This has almost put us in a situation that says, well, you know that there's other trees on the property. Yeah, they're not close to the building and falling on a roof. They could still hurt somebody and kill somebody. And that's the main point of why we wanted this done anyways. It wasn't just to protect the roof. It's a serious hazard. They literally could have, the photos I sent you guys, you know, coming up on the roof in the morning, seeing something like that, knowing there could have been patrons in the building, staff, and that come through the roof and impale somebody really scares you. And again, this isn't the first time with that tree, but you have all these other trees on the property. It is not our property. It is the village's property. We were trying to help them, you know, with a tune of $5,500. They did charge us $500 to take the stump grindings, part of the manifest that we did pay. So hopefully the village will, from here on out, kind of understand that there is a tree issue that needs to be looked at around our property, and they'll kind of take the lead on it. So that's all we can hope for. I don't want to be in the paper again. It was awkward. It's awkward calling my mother. It was awkward calling my mother and telling her I was in the paper. Now that'll be attached when my grandchildren do genealogy work that, you know, dad's a rebel and granddad was a rebel and cuts down trees at the library, and he's a tree killer. So I guess, you know, people got that on my name. So yeah, that's where we're at. So if you guys do want to
I had just one more question.
Yep.
Before we break, I have one more question. This thing we just you sent us on this Excelis, it says our rate increase on the current plan is 1%.
Correct.
Now in the June meeting, we said it was 8.28%.
Yeah.
So that changed?
Well, yeah, must have, because that was the letter that we got from Excella saying that, you know, our percentage was supposed to go up. But actually, I think that was for the following year. So we thought that was part of this year. And I think that what the rates are actually for the preceding year.
So it is, it's the 1%. I'll scratch that from my
1%.
notes. Okay.
Yeah, so that 8.2%, that should actually, I think, be for next year, not this year. It's a year behind. Well, we get that. I thought it was for this year. So, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Do we have any other business or no?
I don't think so. It's kind of weird that we actually had a long, almost 2-hour meeting at this point. It used to be standard, and now it's like, it's a long meeting.
Well, we didn't have a meeting last month, the August meeting. Maybe
Right.
That's it. That's why.
Yeah.
So then, anyone want to make a motion for adjournment?
I'll move it.
Motion for adjournment.
I'll move it. I'll move adjournment.
Everyone in favor at 8:48?
Bye, bye.
Thank you.
Right.
Good
Bye,
night,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.